All right, how you guys doing today? We're about to hop into a something. I got to think about it. But the first things first, like the video, because why not? Help spread the gospel and get the message of God out there. Just do it. It's cool, you know. Exit the full screen, scroll just a little bit, like the video, full screen it back up. You feel me? All right, I decided we're just gonna go with the reaction to Dr. Frank Turek. A little quick video, right? Is there evidence of the Exodus at the Great Sphinx? Because recently I commented on an Instagram post about something because somebody was like, how do you know that this is true and the thing? And I was like, I don't know, but his name is Dr. Frank Turek and his channel is Cross Examined. You can go check it out. I don't know if it's true necessarily, but that's the location of the video. So, you know, let's check this thing out and see what he's got to talk about.
Today we're talking about evidence from Egypt that the Hebrews were in Egypt prior to the biblical dating of the Exodus, 1446 BC. By the way, that would make them arriving at Jericho in 1406 BC. Joshua and Jericho, that whole story. But the Exodus began in 1446 BC, according to the biblical dating. And we're giving evidence from Egypt that they were actually there. This is a fantastic one. In fact, it's found right between the paws of the Sphinx itself. Remember the passage we've been working from? On that same night, this is Exodus 12:12, I will pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn of both people and animals, and I will bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. Right between the paws of the Sphinx is a 10.5-foot stela, meaning a standing stone with writing on it. It's actually about 12 feet long, 12 feet high, I should say, 12 feet tall. It's called the Sphinx Dream Stela, and it tells of King Tutmos IV on a hunting trip, then resting by the Sphinx and having a vision or a dream. And it essentially said, if he cleared the sand away from the Sphinx, the throne would be his. Okay, what does this have to do with anything? Well, scholars believe that this is a fabricated pretense to the throne. It suggests that he didn't have a natural claim to the throne. Well, who is Tutmos IV? Tutmos IV is the son of the pharaoh of the Exodus, Amenhotep II. Amenhotep II's firstborn son vanishes from history. And his next son turns out to be the pharaoh because this guy's brother, his older brother's gone, and he calls himself Tutmos IV, after, I believe, his grandfather, Tutmos III, who is the guy who reigned 54 years. Well, why is he claiming that he had a dream and this dream gives him the throne? Well, as Titus Kennedy puts it, he says this in his book, 101 Archaeological Discoveries. The Sphinx Dream Stela was found between the paws of the Great Sphinx, and when the hieroglyphs were translated, it was found to be a personal yet official text of Pharaoh Tutmos IV, who reigned in the 15th century BC and was the son of Pharaoh Amenhotep II. It's an illustrative scene that appears at the top of the stela. It shows Tutmos IV making an offering to the Great Sphinx. And below, the stone inscription claims that while Tutmos IV was hunting one day, he rested near the Sphinx, fell asleep, had a dream in which the god of the Sphinx delivered a divine message to him. Allegedly, Tutmos IV was told that if he cleared the sand from around the Sphinx, he would be the pharaoh. He's essentially getting justification for being the pharaoh because he did not have a legitimate claim to the throne. His older brother did, but somehow his older brother is gone. What does this suggest? His older brother was killed in the 10th plague. And so now he has to put up this big 12-foot high stela saying that he really is the true pharaoh. Why would he have to do this if he had an inherited right to the throne? He wouldn't have to do it. That's what many scholars are saying. This, for me, is fascinating.
So obviously, right, if you don't believe in the Exodus or whatever the case is, you're going to say it's a bunch of hoopla. I can kind of concur with you. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to say that it sounds like he's reaching. It definitely sounds like he's reaching. Just because bro disappeared doesn't mean anything necessarily, right? Dr. Frank Turek, he knows a lot more than me, though, on the subject. So, you know, do I take his word for it? To some degree, I might have to. You know, I might have to. Some commenter at StormyKeep9, we could just pull it up here for you, says another interesting tidbit. The fourth's grandson, Akhenaten, whatever, famously abandoned Egypt's traditional polytheism for a monotheistic religion. Scholars to this day has no clue why he would do that. Something had a lot of influence, or something influenced him. And with the other monotheistic religion around being that of the Hebrew God of the Bible, it really makes you wonder, right? So, Nothing too crazy. Here's a question I was wondering. If his brother died, wouldn't that just mean that he's already next in line to the throne, right? That would certainly be the case regarding British and most European monarchies, but I think the only firstborn had the right to the Egyptian throne. But if the firstborn died, it could be then that the throne was contested by all the other family members, including brothers of the deceased pharaoh. I do stand corrected, however. Question. So what you're missing is the firstborn basically means having the status of the heir. Succession in Egypt was based on being the oldest surviving son of the pharaoh's designated great queen. So it would have been relatively common for the firstborn to be younger than some of the sons of the lesser queens. To take one commonly cited example, Pharaoh Metafna, whatever, Meneptah would have only been 17th in line to the throne if his older brothers hadn't preceded Ramses II, but there's no evidence of any controversy over him taking the throne, ... That said, even if Frank was right about this text showing that Thutmose IV was first in line to the throne, it's really not relevant to the Exodus, since the cities that the Exodus say the Israelites built, part of Pithom and Ramses, weren't founded for several generations after his reign. I strongly recommend watching the review of Frank's earlier video on the Exodus by Egyptologist over on the channel Ancient Egypt and the Bible to get a good idea of how much of what he's saying on the issue is actually supported by the evidence. Comment. Because who knows. Anyway, all right, just some random stuff for the video today, but I hope you can see that, like, random stuff in the world, quote unquote random stuff in the world, you know, there's real history involved in this, right? The Old Testament is real history if the Bible's true. If it's not, all this stuff could just be coincidences and mumbo jumbo, and I don't want to say that I wouldn't see the vision if you said that you believe that, because, like, it sounds like a reach personally, but do I have faith that one day the evidence will be uncovered 100%? So, do with that as you will. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace.